Hi, everyone, and welcome. Dominic here with our Catholic Homeschool Neighborhood. Today we're joined by Megan Fassero. Megan, welcome. Good to have you with us.
Thank you, Dominic.
So, we are on a quest with you to help you find the best fit for your homeschool life. This Catholic Homeschool Neighborhood, it introduces you to creators and guides to help you thrive with your homeschool lifestyle. I'm your host, Dominic de Souza, a second-gen homeschool dad. Help us out, press like and subscribe to this channel. So Megan is a former homeschooling mom and the Homeschool Outreach Coordinator for Benedictine College. It's a Newman Guide recommended faithful Catholic college in Atchison, Kansas. She works with the Office of Admission to connect beautiful homeschooling families to their community of faith and scholarship. Megan, before we get into the whole college, first I want to meet you and introduce you to our community. How did you get into homeschooling?
Oh, that's a great question, Dominic, and I love telling this story. So my husband and I, we're first generation homeschoolers. So we discovered homeschooling really at Benedictine College while we were students here in the 1990s. Some of our professors here at the college were kind of homeschooling pioneers, so we got to know their families and see homeschooling from the outside. Then, fast forward a couple years, we graduated from college, got married, started our own family. And when our daughter was 1 or 2 years old, we began meeting some families in Omaha, Nebraska, which is where we are from. And kind of realizing, wow, there's something really unique and special about these families. What is it that they all have in common? And it seemed to be that homeschooling was this unique link that kind of that bonded all of them together, and it made us really want what they had. So we, even before our daughter was ready for preschool or anything, we were going over to their houses to see what homeschooling looked like, to kind of see how the students interacted with each other, see how their classrooms were set up, see how families managed like their dinner time and their school time. So we were in this learning mode, trying to discover everything we could about homeschooling. And so it just seemed like a perfect fit for our family. And when our daughter began school, we started with homeschooling and we never looked back. So we homeschooled her. She's our only child, and we homeschooled her from preschool through high school. We used Mother of Divine Grace curriculum. So we're a fan of the classical Catholic education that's provided through Mother of Divine Grace and so many other great curricula out there.
That's wonderful. Well, let's move over. I want to talk then about how that experience, and then yourself being a graduate from Benedictine, now you're working for them. First, though, let's play our little opening. Alrighty, so talk to us about Benedictine College. What is it you love about it? What makes it special or different? How does it approach the liberal arts and classical education?
Yeah, so obviously, like I said, I'm a graduate of Benedictine. I married a graduate. We've lived here right in Atchison since 2007. So after we started our family in Omaha and began homeschooling, my husband took a job here at the college as the director of operations. So we moved here, and he has worked for the college since 2007. And our family had the benefit of living kind of under the wing of the college right here in our small town. With a beautiful community of homeschooling Catholic families, and getting to enjoy all the benefits that living near a Newman Guide College provides. So, we were able to go to sporting events and see speakers and performances and meet students who would come over to our house and become part of our family while they were students here. So we kind of got to experience it from that angle. Then when our daughter graduated from homeschool in 2017, and I realized, she's our only one. What am I going to do next? I've got this whole life ahead of me. And I realized I would love to work with the Office of Admission, kind of recruiting homeschoolers and attracting them to Benedictine, to this community that we have here. So I just reached out to the Office of Admission and said, hey, my daughter's graduating from homeschool. I'm going to be available. I'd love to work at the college connecting homeschoolers to Benedictine. And right away, the Office of Admission said, yes, let's do it. Because they know that homeschoolers are the perfect fit for Benedictine. What they bring to the college is, this background of growing up in these incredible Catholic families. So they already know our mission, which is living in a community of faith and scholarship. which is exactly what homeschoolers are doing anyway. So when they come to Benedictine, they're just perfect fits for the college.
That's brilliant. So you mentioned that there were well, first let's talk very briefly about the liberal arts. How does that set it apart as a college, maybe distinct from other colleges? What's special about liberal arts?
Yeah, great question. So we're a liberal arts college. What's unique about the way Benedictine does the liberal arts, maybe in comparison to like a Christendom or a University of Dallas, is that all of our students will end up with a major, but they start taking courses in that major as early as the first semester of their freshman year. So instead of going through that core at Christendom or UD, and then switching into those major classes, we right away, students begin, if they think I'm going to be a business major, they will take an introductory business class their first semester of freshman year so they can get an idea, is this really what I'm meant to do? Am I really attracted to that field? All the while they're taking their general education requirements, and which are those liberal arts pieces. So every student here at Benedictine, whether they're a nursing major, or an engineering major, or a philosophy or Spanish major, they're going to be taking our set general education requirements in the liberal arts. But they'll take them in different ways. So for example, you could have two students who are both freshmen business majors, but they may be taking those liberal arts requirements in different ways that are attractive to them. So they'll choose, everyone takes an intro to theology class, but then after that, they choose from our selection of theology classes. So they could take like an Old Testament or a evangelization class to kind of fulfill those other theology requirements. So not every student is going to have the same exact course schedule as another student, but they're all going to end up with those liberal arts foundations and skills and perspectives that we want them to graduate with.
That sounds so that immediately sounds like there's going to be so much more focus from the get-go for every student coming in on what they're going to get out of the college and where they're putting their attention. Little less discovery maybe, and more actual sort of actually working it out. So if that's the case, who's the kind of homeschool family that really does well? The homeschool student or graduate that really does well at Benedictine?
Yeah, students who, like you said, maybe have an idea like, I want to be an engineer, or I want to go pre-med, I want to be a nursing major, or even if they say like, I want to teach in a Catholic high school, or, if they have sort of that idea, okay, this is where I want to go, but I don't want to just go to a school where I'm only going to study business, or I'm only going to study engineering. I want that theology, the philosophy, the history, the foreign language. I want an opportunity to study abroad. Those are the students who are really attracted to Benedictine. Then we always have students who arrive and say, you know what, I'm attracted to Benedictine. I want to be on this campus, but I have no idea what I want to study. And this is a great place to be undecided as well. So it's a good fit for those undecideds, and also those people who are very career focused and have an idea of exactly where they want to go right after college.
Nice. I'm curious, what sort of updates or changes maybe have happened to Benedictine given the last 2 years, and what sort of changes have taken place?
Yeah, well, by the grace of God, we have been able to weather this whole COVID situation really well. And actually, we found that so many students are attracted to our in-person classes without masks and no online. So we found that over the summer, even as late as July and August, we had students saying, hey, I was going to be going to this other school, and I found out some of my classes are going to be online, or I'm going to be required to test every week. So they were calling to say, can I come to Benedictine? So we had our largest freshman class ever this past year. So we were over 600 in our freshman class, which put us at our highest enrollment ever as well. So over 2,000 students. So I think a lot of people are realizing, okay, if you're committed to that mission of in-person learning, I want that. And so we've been happy to be able to offer that here at Benedictine.
Oh, good. No, that makes sense. Again, it's all about meeting different kinds of people with what they're looking for. What do people who graduate, so what are the kinds of courses then that you offer? I'm curious, what kind of graduates, how do I say this, are produced? Like what kind of spheres do they go into? Are there particular kind of jobs that Benedictine graduates really tend towards, or what
Well,
happens to it?
we have 51 majors. So we have got everything from students studying philosophy and going on to earn their masters and doctorates to students who are engineers and nurses who start their first job. They have their first job in hand before they even graduate. They go
Mhm.
right into that field that they were hoping to go into. So it's a wide variety, but right now, really
Okay.
popular majors at Benedictine are the engineering, business, education, and theology have always been very popular majors here. And then our nursing program is excellent as well. So just
Mhm.
attracting, my daughter is a graduate of Benedictine as well. She was a history theology major,
Okay.
but she lived in a suite with girls who were psychology majors, astronomy and physics majors, international business, and nursing. So, just in her small group of friends right there
Mhm.
just this variety of majors that you're interacting with at all times. And that
Oh,
makes
that just sounds
for,
fascinating,
yeah.
like the cross-pollinating of learning there. So if that's the case, what's the size of the campus? How many students are there? Well, you said it was the biggest freshman class, but on
Yeah.
average, what's the average size of the student body?
Yeah, so we're right over 2,000 students this year, and
Wow.
we're a residential college. So
Mhm.
our mission is as part of our mission, we are required to have 85% of our students live on campus. So
Okay.
so we have a really vibrant campus life. It's not the kind of place that gets quiet on the weekends. On the weekends, actually, is whenever, you see a lot of activity on
Okay.
Friday evenings, Saturday afternoons, evenings. So it's not a commuter college. This is where they come here because they want to be a part of that
Mhm.
college community on the weekends.
That's brilliant. I think you'd mentioned earlier there were some things that you specifically wanted to highlight for interested homeschoolers. What are some of those?
Yeah. So, what I realized as a homeschooling parent myself, so I homeschooled my daughter with a college prep attitude in mind, mostly because I wanted her to have the opportunity to pursue whatever she wanted to do after high school, whether that was, go into a religious order or, pursue a trade or do a 4-year college and even possible college after that. So I like to encourage parents to always homeschool with that goal in mind so that your student has all of the options available to them when it comes to
Mhm.
high school graduation. But there are a few resources that I wasn't aware of as a homeschooling mom that I wish I would have known a little bit more about. So one of them is something called My Majors, and families can access it at benedictine.mymajors.edu. And what happens is that they go in, the student can go in, they can do this as many times as they want to, and they just kind of complete, it's like a personality assessment. So high schoolers love kind of doing that kind of thing where they talk about their passions and their interests and their weaknesses. And
Mhm.
the tool helps produce a list of majors that may be a good fit for your student. And so it can kind of help your high
Wow.
schooler either like broaden their idea, like maybe they think I'm really good at math, so I'll just study math. But they might find out from this major assessment that there's a variety of things that might be a good fit for them. Or it can help narrow it down for some students who are like, I just am interested in anything. I could see myself doing everything. This can
Mhm.
kind of help narrow down that list for them. And then it can help them in their college search too.
Mhm.
So I really love that tool. I wish I would have known a little bit more about that when I was a homeschooling mom myself.
I'm just curious to ask, can anybody use that apart from Benedictine, or is it
Yeah,
okay?
anybody can use it. And actually, I mean, I would encourage like moms and dads and to do it too because it's super interesting to see like what kind of things. Sometimes you're going to do it and you're like, oh, that's what I majored in college, so it knows me really well. Or it might just give you an idea of like, oh, I never thought about that. I could have done something with that.
How
Um,
intriguing.
so
I think I wanna give that a go. It'd be funny to see
yeah,
what turns up.
yeah, it is. It's a very interesting tool for sure. So I would definitely encourage that. And then also transferology is another tool that is really handy for high school parents. If your student is taking some dual enrollment classes at like a local community college or through one of the Newman Guide colleges online, and they want to find out, will these classes transfer to the college of my choice?
Mhm.
There's transferology.com is the tool that you use to do that. It's just super handy. So many high school students now are kind of coming in with already a few college credits under their belt, so they might as well get those transferred onto their college transcript. And this just helps you determine which of the colleges accept those credits and how they transfer to, like whether it fulfills a general education requirement or a degree requirement for your students. So super handy tool that homeschoolers seem to appreciate. And then finally, we have a homeschool guide that I sort of developed it like while I was still a homeschool mom, because I was a mom of a one homeschooler. So I found myself with like a little bit more time on my hands than some of my peers, some of my best friends who were homeschooling 8 kids under the age of 12 and couldn't even think about college prep. And so my sister was one of those people, and I realized, is she seeing these? There were tips being shared always by homeschool moms on some of the homeschool email groups that we were on. But I just started compiling all of those tips and ideas and suggestions into a guide. And I just shared it with some of my friends, just saying, hey, this is, if you just need some help, like a 4-year college planning timeline, just to get your student ready for college, use this. So when I came to Benedictine, I brought that with me, and they helped me put it into like a really nice format. So it's something that parents can request right now for their students. And I recommend it for 8th grade and above, because it has a 4-year college planning timeline that just kind of tells you certain things to do each year, just to make sure that by the time your student's a senior, they're kind of ready for the college application process. And so that can be requested at benedictine.edu/homeschool guide. So I'd love to provide that for families too.
That's amazing. That's good. Well, I'm going to drop those links in the show notes, so if anybody wants to check them out, they certainly can. In wrapping up here, Megan, what would be, if you had a minute to share a motivational or an encouraging message to homeschool families out of your own experience as a homeschool mom, what would you want to say?
Yeah, what I would want to say is that the college preparation process is a time of joy. So definitely approach it with that heart, realizing that this is your student's future. And it's so exciting. You don't know where they're going to end up or what God is calling them to be. And they're going, He's got a beautiful plan for each of our high schoolers. And so helping them find that college that's going to be a great fit for them is just, it's like such a pleasure as a parent to be able to do that. So instead of, stressing out about it or being something that you want to kind of put on the back burner, just put it on the front burner. It is the task of your high schooler to kind of figure out what's next for them. And so that's really it, to kind of look at the end goal that you had as a homeschooling mom when you started homeschooling. What did you want for your high schooler, and then work toward that goal with joy. And so it's just a time to be really appreciative of all of God's gifts for our families.
That's wonderful. Thank you. Thanks for coming on, Megan. For all those who are catching this this interview, if you enjoyed this episode, please press like and then subscribe to this channel. Share it with your one friend that you think would really like to learn more about Benedictine. And then come and join us in the free homeschool community on CatholicHomeschoolCommunity.com. Thanks again. Thanks you, Megan. See you in the neighborhood.
Thank you, Dominic. Goodbye, everyone.